What's going on, everybody? We're live. Welcome to a brand new Day 3 Super High Rollable recap show. My name's Joey Germani, Chicago Joey. We've been doing these all week. We've been talking about the 300K Super High Rollable. It's been happening, going on. They're down to the final 8 players. We're going to talk about Day 3, preview the final table. And yeah, so we've been talking about the tournament course that's been out this week with PLP, Pussy Lovin' Pertouche, aka Poker Lovin' Pertouche. Shout out to Pratt. He made the final 8. He's got the course out. Him and Doug did a course for Upswing. We got a link in the description, bonus 20 videos. And I'm going to become a tournament player. I'm playing the 300K high roller next year. I'm selling at 1.1. That's my goal. Let me know if you want to buy a piece. Joining me today is a man. He's back in the house. He's been grinding from PokerShares headquarters up in Canada outside the mountains. He's been making all the money in the world. He made $25 million betting against Kevin Hart, and he's here to gloat all about it. Timex, Mike McDonald, aka Timex, aka Mike McDonald, back in the house. What's up, Timex? How you feeling over there, buddy?
Pretty good. And yourself?
I'm feeling good, man. We got these final 8 going down today. I'm excited to see what happens. I'm hoping PLP. I'm hoping Jay Kuhn, one of these guys, can maybe take it down. But yeah, I mean, in terms of chip counts right now, guys, it's not necessarily looking the best for Jay Kuhn. He's grinding the short stack. PLP is about middling with 1.6 million, and Jake Schindler is currently the chip lead by about 1.8 or 2 million chips. He's got about 4 million chips total. So it's from a gambling perspective, Mike, from where you sit at, who is the worst case scenario to win for yourself, where you're going to get punished the most?
So I mean, we have a lot of different action where certain guys who we might have small bets against, who we have big losers, maybe small percents against. We have a lot against them coming first place, and then other people, like basically some people, a lot of their action is buying pieces. Some people, a lot of their action is like outrights, just betting on people to win or come top 3 or cash. So like, the optimal result for us, like, I mean, I'm sure if I sat around with a spreadsheet, I could find out what it is. I know that the optimal result involves Christoph coming 4th. And that's about all I know. So like, we have, we'll figure it out when it's all done. We have a lot of gambling going on this week.
Yeah, so look like chip counts, guys. Jake Schindler's first place, 4 million chips. Christoph Vogelsang, 2.6 million. Byron Kaverman, 2.2. Stefan Schillhabel. So we actually saw him for the first time ever yesterday on stream on Day 3. I was very happy to kind of see what he looks like. Stefan Schillhabel is 1.9 million. I don't know if that's right. PLP is in 5th place, 1.7 million. Loose Leon himself, aka King's Casino owner, the legendary man himself, is in 1.8 million. Justin Bonamo also 1.8 million. And then Jay Kuhn is 685,000 chips right now. And then they said they're going to be paying out. We thought it was 7 guys. They said they're paying out 8 people. 8th place is going to get $60,000, which was forfeited by 2 players who withdrew. So they threw that in. Do you think that makes any difference here, Mike, in terms of, because I this wasn't announced before, I don't think, and now
it was 100% announced before.
It wasn't announced. Okay.
Yeah, that's how they've always done things. Where what's his name, John Morgan and Bobby Baldwin, when they backed out, I think both of them saw that their rates on PokerShares were under 0.9, and then they realized it'd be a better investment to just forfeit the 30K than actually play. So yeah, those guys both backed out of the tournament and then were replaced by other people. But yeah, that was always how it was supposed to be done, is that they're rather than carry keeping the 30K or something, that like they want this to truly be like a rake-free tournament. Everything goes to the players, and it was always going to the 8th place finisher.
Yeah, so I think overall yesterday, guys, very short day, shorter than before. I think it ended maybe, how long was it? It was about 5 hours. I think it was 5 hours it took to play down to this final 8, and then they're going to be playing down to the final 3 today, and then they're coming back. What do you think about this, Mike, in terms of them playing down to the 8, and now they're going to be airing this 3? I mean, I guess I actually don't know specifically why they did it. I guess they probably didn't want yesterday to go very late. They didn't want to be 1 a.m. when they're playing with 5 left and kind of doing that. But what do you think about that decision to play down to 3 today and then go from 3 until the winner on Thursday? So make it a 5-day event.
I mean, so basically, I think as far as like they're doing this to like in their mind improve the production value. Like I think this tournament is closer to a 3-day tournament than a 5-day tournament as far as the amount of time it takes to cut through 56 players with 75-minute levels. But that said, like, they have more goals at hand than just, renting a convention center as little time as possible and giving people the best like daily earn or anything. Like they really want to get viewers. They want to be able to build programming out of it. So, if this is what's like optimal for their business, then that could be what's optimal for the business. I know absolutely zero about that.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's related to, it seems like the more days it goes on, the more chance you have people to then purchase that Poker Go subscription as well. Because if you missed it on Wednesday, well, now maybe I want to see it on Thursday. If you can't watch it Thursday, but you watched it Wednesday, so now it just gives people that chance to maybe pick it up. I think we might have Haral Bob in the chat. Haral Bob said the main reason why they don't want to go too late is because of crew cost related to overtime as well, which I haven't actually heard anything about that as well. I'll be in Vegas tomorrow, so I'll talk to the Poker Central guys and I'll probably ask them some questions about, why they chose the coverage, why the outer table coverage even yesterday, Mike, it was down to 2 tables. And I think we had a pretty big all in out there. And, once again, I didn't really know who had what. We didn't know how many blinds they had, how many chips they had, who was even all in which hand. So I got to say that I was very surprised by the outer table coverage once again. And, I got to imagine that's going to be something they want to focus on in the future. They did include a graphic for the first time that showed who was at the outer table yesterday, so I was happy to see that as well. But overall, enjoyed the action, enjoyed the coverage. I thought it went very fast. There were a few moments we're going to talk about, but yeah, I mean, I guess overall, good, right?
Yeah, it seems like they're getting a little better at things. This is, I don't know, one of their first times doing this. It seems like there's a lot that could be improved upon, but I'm definitely of the mentality right now that anyone who's doing like new, like innovative stuff in poker and trying to like improve our game as far as getting a larger outreach or trying new things as far as production, I'm fine with that, whether it works out or not.
Yeah, I am pretty just kind of excited to see what happens here in the future. Like we said, we talked about this. This was the first time they're doing, it's not the first time they've streamed it. They obviously streamed it last year and it looked very similar. It went very similar, but I've heard some things, we talked to Maury on the pod. He talked about next year, there's these big changes coming on even more grander scale. So I'm very optimistic. I tend to be optimistic about most things that happen in poker until I have a reason not to be optimistic about it, like certain things that have maybe come in these past couple of years. So, but I think, one of the big things people were talking about yesterday when we were doing the companion stream is, there really wasn't too much that happened. I think that the coolest hand that took place was a hand between Christoph Vogelsang and Justin Botomo. So Vogelsang limped in the small blind. I believe he had ace-8 offsuit. And Justin, I don't quite remember his hand because I could not find this hand anywhere online. And by the way, guys, if you're Poker Central, if you're Poker News, if you're Poker Listings, if you're any website out there that creates content and you're not writing about something related, some sort of element. I think Jonah the Wizard wrote about a piece about Kevin Hart that is somehow the best piece I've read about Kevin Hart and any sort of poker. Like, I don't understand how that possibly happened. If you are a poker media site and you're watching this right now and you're not writing a lot about this event, which is the main event right now, you guys are doing yourself a disservice, in my opinion. But so this hand took place between Vogelsang. He had ace-8. Justin Bonomo had 9-4 diamonds, and he checked back the big blind. The flop was Jack 5-2 with 2 clubs. It went check, check. The turn was the 6 of spades. It put 2 backdoor flush draws up there. Vogelsang checked with the ace-8. Bonomo bet pretty close to pot. And then Vogelsang check called. So the river was the 7. All the flush draws missed. So the board was Jack 5-2-6-7. Vogelsang checked. Bonomo bet about 180K into a pot of about 112K. So Bonomo had 9 high for a complete bluff. Vogelsang had ace-8 for just ace high. He did block the 8-9. He did have the ace of spades, which I don't think that's necessarily that relevant in the hand. Tanked for a while, and then made the hero call and took it down in spectacular fashion. And I thought that was by far the most interesting hand of the night. And Mike, what's kind of your thoughts as someone who's put in a lot of these tournament no limit hold'em hands? What's your thoughts on that hand?
Yeah, so basically, like I don't know too much regarding regarding how much this is something that Christoph is always calling here versus if he's calling because of his hand or he's calling because of game flow or whatnot. But I think that basically the 8 blocker there is quite relevant. For larger bet sizing, I think 8-4 and 8-9, blocking 8-4 and 8-9 are 2 hands that I think will get played that way a large percent of the time. And I also think as far as bluffs, the 8 doesn't really block many bluffs in the sense, to block like 8-3 and 8-4, but that's like a much lower than average number of bluffs than other hands. So I think that basically, I think any hand with a 6 in it is probably, I think basically hands with a 6 in it, like that's probably the best blocker, followed by an 8 in it. And then, so yeah, I think it's fairly likely that, folding ace-7 and calling ace-8 could be reasonable kind of thing. So, I think it's, I think that, or definitely like folding ace-5 or something. So I think the type of hand he has here is pretty useful, even ignoring any sort of, game flow and like live tells dynamic. And then like you just need to call some of your bluff catchers. And this one may be one of the better bluff catchers to be calling with. But then also factoring in just, ZJ just lost a big pot. There's obviously like, no one is completely unreadable. There may be just like certain things. Like I didn't actually watch this hand. I just read this hand. But there's, there could be other. It could just be he's calling, range in that spot. Like it could be, could be he's calling if he has king 4 or something. Like king 3. Like I don't know. But that's just kind of my thoughts on why this is not necessarily a bad hand to be calling with.
Yeah, I thought it was that was a pretty fun hand to watch. I talked about it on the companion stream a little bit, and my no limit hold'em analysis has not been. I think it's been, honestly, I played no limit hold'em for the first couple of years of my career, but I haven't played it in quite a long time. So kind of my thinking on the hand, just going over it, was that in that spot, I think Justin would bet most of his pairs in the flop. So if he had a jack or a 5 or a deuce, he'd bet it. And then in terms of the 6 on the turn, once again, he probably doesn't have 2 pairs. So when he bets pretty big on the turn, I don't think he's often going to have 2 pairs. So once again, I think he would have bet most of his 6-2 and 5-6 combinations on the flop. So then we look at that, and then we say, okay, I think he would have bet 3-4 as well on the flop too. So now it's okay, like, what sort of hands could he have? And then we go to the river. The river's a 7, and we have the 8 in our hand. We do block that 8-9 combo there. And I think that's a hand he would check back on the flop. We do block the 8-4 too. I do think that's a hand that he's going to check back on the flop as well. But I don't know if he's necessarily going to choose that bet size, a near pot with an 8-4, a double gutter, or an 8-9 on the turn. So in terms of, what hands would he bet 6-7 that big? Not quite sure. So I can definitely understand the call. I think a lot of people out there said it was this insane call or this really sick call, and I do think it is a pretty sick call. But at the same time, it does make a lot of sense when you just break it down from that standpoint. And I think they talked about Vogel saying is very big into the he's very big into the math of everything. He doesn't care what happened to him before. It's all about a math game. I think they made a comment like that too. So maybe that's where, he's just always calling in that spot. But overall, I thought it was an interesting hand for an Nolan Holden hand. And I think it was made interesting by Justin's decision to do that. I don't quite know, why he decided to do that hand. But it was a fun hand.
I want to interject a little. I probably should have interjected earlier, but I think your analysis of the hand is pretty like disrespectful to ZJ, basically.
Bang, bang.
I think it's very likely ZJ's over bluffing the spot, but I think that ZJ is someone who's when he's choosing bet sizing, when he's choosing bet sizing in spots, I think he's fairly mindful of the types of hands he can have. Mm-hmm. And if he's just like blindly betting 6-5 and 6-2 on the flop, I don't think he's electing to go with such a large bet size on the end. I think you're definitely oversimplifying the spot for Christoph, and I think there's a lot more hands that ZJ can have than you're giving him credit for. I think there's also room. I would guess if ZJ has a 2. So you were saying if he's betting his pairs on the flop, I would guess if he has a 2 or a 5, he averages to betting maybe a third of the time. And if he has a jack on the flop, he bets maybe 85% of the time. Like I think it's just pretty easy for ZJ to just have jack 4 here, basically. I don't think ZJ needs to be too nutted to play this out. And the river card doesn't change very much for Christoph. Like basically it changes things for Christoph if he rivered 2 pair is pretty much what it boils down to. But if ZJ has jack 3, or if like let's just say he had ace-7, he never plays ace-7 this way, but like ace-7 is pretty damn nutted if you're ZJ in the spot. queen 7 or whatever it happens to be, that I don't think that you really, I don't think the big bet sizing really makes ZJ necessarily that polarized. And I think he's pretty mindful. If he's choosing to bluff this size, I think he's generally doing so in spots where he can have a reasonably large number of combos that he's reasonably confident are winning. So I just think there's a lot more value hands than you're giving him credit for. That said, I still think it's a reason. As I said, I think it's a reasonable call for Christoph, but I don't think it's as simple of a spot as you're making it out to be.
Learning, Poppy. I'm learning. Listen, man, I'm getting ready for the main event this year. I think it's the first time I'm playing it, and trying to learn my no limit hold'em here. I mean, for me to even think about a no limit hold'em hand more than a couple percentage of my mental energy. I feel like I don't know what's wrong with me, honestly, Michael. I don't know what's happening to me. I don't know where this is all coming from. I don't even know why I'm thinking about this, to be honest with you. But something came over me lately with this 300K super high roller bowl, and I've just decided that I want to talk no limit hold'em. So it's yeah, guys, I don't know. This is the first time I've ever gotten a no home strategy on the podcast in history in the last 3 years. So I don't know when it'll happen again, but I don't know, man. But yeah, I guess that hand, the other hand that took place, Mike, you could talk about is so Vogelsang opened with aces. Gary Katz shoved all in for about 327,000 with pocket queens, and then Justin Bonomo tanked from the big blind, and then he called the all in for 327,000. Vogelsang reshoved for about 900 and some thousand, and then Bonomo tanked for a while and then made that call. And I think that out there was people were talking about too as well. The call from Bonomo to the back shove from Vogelsang.
Yeah, I mean, so this hand here, there's no shot that Justin's like sitting there pleased with how he played this hand or anything like that. This hand is basically, so the one thing that I will point out is shot clock tournaments do make it easier to fuck up pre-flop spots than other tournaments. I think that's something that will happen where, it's tougher to know someone's exact chip count when you don't have the ability to do so. I think this spot for Justin is relatively simple, where basically if you have a really good hand pre-flop, you call, and then if you have a decent hand pre-flop, you go all in. And if you have a speculative hand pre-flop, you call, and then when Christoph goes all in, you call if you were trapping and fold if you weren't trapping. Like it's not rocket science to play the spot. And I think basically Justin miscounted Christoph's stack, and then, kind of made two poor plays as a result of it, basically. I think if he saw Christoph's stack, he would have just gone all in himself. And then, yeah, that's just kind of how things kind of one, I don't think Justin thought calling the first time was better than shoving or anything. I think he just kind of, assumed Christoph had like 1.3 million, in which case this is definitely the right way to play sixes. Well, so long as you fold after. And then when he realized it was 900,000, I think it's definitely a bad call. Probably not as bad of a call as people are making it out to be. But yeah, I think it's just kind of, he got himself in a spot I don't think he would often get himself into.
Well, with that said, guys, in terms of Justin play yesterday, he's still actually 7th in chips, but he's very close to between 4th place, 7th place. He's still alive. I think he was playing a lot of hands yesterday. I don't know if he was a little bit on tilt or a little bit steamed up at all from some of the hands that did go down at all. But yeah, it seemed like he was he's playing a lot of pots, and I love people that like to play a lot of pots. And I think at this table, we got a lot of players that do like to play a lot of pots. It seemed like Jake Schindler is a guy that likes to mix it up. I know he plays a ton of these high stakes tournaments. Obviously, Vogelsang, Byron Kaverman was in the mix. PLP, we got to see a little bit of PLP at the feature table. Mike, we finally got PLP. He's got this thing. I don't know. Did you teach him this, Mike? When he puts the hand here and he just keeps it there the entire time when he's doing his action. It's pretty impressive that he can keep the hand there and also keep doing that. But I think that might be in the course. I haven't got to that module quite yet if that's in the course, but I'm excited to see what happens here today, man, with PLP. I'm really hoping he's got a deep run in him here and gets to this final 2, final 3 here.
Yeah, I mean, I think, what it boils down to is, a lot of, everyone in these super high rollers, we're all watching each other's necks, seeing whose pulse is going quick, who's going slowly. And basically what ends up happening is, a lot of these Germans and guys who take themselves too seriously and perhaps, like or even dislike pussy, but don't love it. They just, they don't care about their appearance. And if they have this sort of dislike for acquiring pussy, they don't mind having a big goofy scarf here. But Pratt, like there's ladies on the rail, they're sliding into the DMs. Like he has to prioritize things, and that's why like he wants to still keep looking fresh when the tournament's going on, while also like you got to protect your neck. Like so, yeah, that's what he's doing right there.
So you think PLP is a little bit, maybe he's thinking about too many outside things. He's not necessarily as focused on the poker as he should be. He maybe has some other things in his mind.
Exactly. He likes poker, but he loves pussy, and that's what it all boils down to. That he couldn't wear the scarf inside, but this is the next best thing.
Don't we all? I mean, I the thing is, I totally relate to that feeling too, because as PLP, my name could be PLP too if my name was Poe, but it's Joe, so I guess it would be PLJ. But I'm excited to see Pratt play today. I feel like he's been up and down these past couple of years for him. He was really up, had a little down year, kind of making a little rise, and now we got this. I don't know, man. I'm just pumped for the kid.
I know it's been a little while since Pratt's had a big score, so I would definitely. I would be so happy to see him take down a big one like this. I really hope he takes it down.
Yeah. So another thing that happened that people asked about was we almost saw a fight, Mike. Did you see this fight? Jay Kuhn and Luis Leon. And now listen, we've talked about Luis Leon being King's Casino owner, probably being involved with some things. He seems like he seems like a guy that's seen some things, Mike. Obviously, Jay Kuhn, we know Jay Kuhn's been in some situations. Back to that first podcast, Jay Kuhn, I don't know. Jay Kuhn's seen some things too, man. He's been involved in some situations. Now, these two got involved in some sort of tussle at the table there, a verbal back and forth. Jay Kuhn talked about one of Luis Leon's guys was on the rail, standing too closely behind him. Why doesn't he go stand where all the other rest of the players are standing at? And then Luis Leon, has kind of made this little passive-aggressive comment. He said, I don't know about you, but I play my own money. I'm going to do what I want to do. And then Jason said, why do you make it about yourself? And all this kind of stuff. And they eventually did squash it. We got a handshake in the middle, but I don't know exactly, where this all came from. But I did find Luis Leon's comment about, I play my own money. I don't know about you. It seemed like, he's kind of, I don't know. It seemed like, he probably has an issue with all these people sharing so much action or selling so much action. And this was his way to sort of, I don't know, it's kind of big time Jason in a way during this altercation.
Yeah, them's fighting words. Yeah, I mean, I think that's that's pretty. I mean, I can understand Jason's perspective there. I think that it is bad when your integrity is called into question. So I can understand how people can sort of react very aggressively in that situation as Leon. I just think that it just seems ludicrous to me how someone could ever care more about having your buddy stand 10 feet from the table than be concerned about someone else's buddy standing 10 feet from the table. Like, it's like, if you're not cheating, you gain so little benefit from having your buddy there. And if someone else is cheating, you lose so much by them having their buddy there trying to look at your cards or whatnot. Like, it's very, it's completely nonsensical to me that, that someone doesn't think stuff like this is for the good of the game. That's one of my concerns with poker in general is, if there's as soon as you have cards, people can mark the cards. As soon as you have chips, people can steal the chips, put them into other tournaments. Anything that goes on, is an opportunity that can be cheated. And when so much money changes hands in this game, it's quite concerning, especially in super high rollers. Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm, maybe I wear my tinfoil hat a bit too much, but I just think that the less variables at hand, the more that I'm comfortable inside a poker game, basically. And I think that when there's a lot of money on the line, it's just a reasonable concern for people to have. It's like Leon, I don't know. Leon, I think he owes people.
Watch yourself, Mike. I don't know what you're about to say. Watch yourself right now. Loosely, you never know. Allegedly, whatever you're going to say.
Allegedly, Luis Leon played in a very large stakes poker game where allegedly he believes people won low to mid seven figures off of him by allegedly cheating, and Leon allegedly didn't pay his losses in the game. and it's whatever is going on there, is just like, you know, I just don't think, like, if I were in his shoes and, you know, all these things are true, I would just be so concerned about any poker game that I would just be like, look, I don't want to play for high stakes, and I want to make this every game as fair as possible, kind of thing. Like, it, you know, it just seems crazy to me how someone who has allegedly, you know, believes they've been taken advantage of could be concerned. Like, I think a lot of people in poker kind of have this thing where, you know, they can't kind of look outside of their own circumstances, where, like, if he's been cheated for large amounts of money, he should be like, okay, well, how do I avoid those situations? How do I show other people that I'm not cheating for large amounts of money? But I think a lot of people don't, I don't know. I think a lot of people don't know, like, I don't know, people can't look outside their own circumstances. And I think that I think that just kind of goes across the board for everybody.
Yeah, it did seem like, you know, Leon's guy, he was wearing this the Red Kings Casino shirt. He was standing pretty close to the table, so I don't know why he was so close. It seemed like he was very much involved in every pot that was going down. You know, I don't know if maybe it's his coach or something like that, or it's a good friend of his. But and then I guess something happened very soon after that, where Rainer Kempe ended up all in against Stefan, and Rainer Kempe thought he was eliminated. He was actually left with one big blind. Then the next hand, he ended up all in. Loose Leon raised. I think he loose Leon called the button. Byron checked the big blind on the flop of 8-8-6. Byron checked. Leon made a bet, and then Byron folded. Leon showed down 3-4 spades for the backdoor flush draw, and then Rainer had trips. And then obviously Rainer doubled up that hand. Then there was another hand where Rainer shoved under the gun for 4 big blinds, and Leon folded the big blind. And then the next hand, Leon folded the small blind once again too, and then he was like pretty much laughing the entire time. And you know, Rainer's wearing the Kings Casino hoodie as well. Maybe Leon's got a big piece, I don't know. And then he gave him a $1 million free roll if Rainer could come back and win it from that price. So first of all, I love Leon overall. I mean, $1 million free roll. He's laughing. He's having a good time. He plays his own money. But do you think you think other players maybe had an issue with that taking place where it seemed, I mean, I don't know. I feel like that could be perceived as potential collusion or something like that. But yeah, I don't know. What'd you see from that?
Yeah, I mean, I think that Leon just probably saw the poker shares 1.25 million free roll and then wanted to give a little free roll of his own. But yeah, I think that basically, I don't know. I think that, like, shit like this happens all the time. Like, I just see like, you know, one of my friends will play a hand poorly against one of my other friends, and then there's a thread on 2+2 about my buddy's cheating or something. Like, you know, this, like, it's like every kind of clique loves accusing the other poker cliques of, like, colluding and cheating and stuff. And it kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier about how, you know, sort of full disclosure about who has what pieces would be a positive thing for the poker community. Yeah, I don't know. I would guess there's no foul play. I didn't see what he folded or anything like that. Yeah, I don't know. I don't even really know. Like, this is kind of also my mentality. If I were to cheat in a poker game, I would always try to find ways where I can gain a lot by cheating while taking on very limited risk, and basically passing 2 big blinds from yourself, who you have 100% of, to your buddy, who say you have 80% of him or something like that, on TV in front of millions of people where people could suspect it. Like, you know, I don't even know if that's profitable, and the whole world sees it. Kind of like, if you're gonna do any collusion and cheating, you don't do it in like a televised poker game kind of thing. Like, that makes me think right there that, you know, like, no one, like, why would anyone do that kind of thing? Like, it's even if you are like a dumb cheat or something, like, you're not going to do something like that. So I guess he just, like, isn't good at his shoving ranges.
Yeah, I mean, I think we probably need to get,
or he just had, you know, 7-2 off or something. Like, 4 blinds, you know, you're not getting that good of prices, especially shorthanded and stuff. Like, it's not that crazy to fold something there.
Yeah, I think I'm going to send Leon a copy of Snapshow over there. I know Helmy was talking about it earlier. Maybe, I don't know if Leon's been working on his ranges or something like that. I'm not sure if he's been spending much time in the lab in terms of that. But yeah, man, I don't know, man. That guy, I just like watching that guy play. I love watching him play Potman Omaha Mike. He's the kind of player that's that I just enjoy so much because, he doesn't come to fold hands, Mike. And I like that a lot. I like players that come to the casino to play hands. I don't like players that come there to fold. Kevin Hart goes there to fold. Not my kind of action there personally. But so in terms of this final table down, we got the 8 guys are set. I think we, I don't know if we necessarily got the most GTO final table mixture of players here. I think the biggest name in the mix right now is, I don't know, in terms of a mainstream audience, a mainstream poker fan audience. I think the most popular person may be Justin Bonomo or Jason Kuhn. What do you think?
Maybe with like a mostly male audience, it'd probably be one of those 2 guys. When you throw in the large female poker audience, I'm sure it's got to be PLP. Sure. But yeah, exactly. So it all depends on which kind of audience we're looking at there.
Yeah, I think going for my demographic metrics, 2%, 3% women, and then 97% men. So I'm going to assume that poker goes to demographics pretty similar to mine. And I think NBC Sports probably more skewed towards the balance there. So, I think you might be right. But I don't know if PLP has that name recognition quite yet. He won that spelling bee back when he was 12 years old or 13 years old, but it was kind of a long time ago. So I don't know if the spelling bee fans have been keeping up in terms of his poker stuff. So I don't know, man. But I do think obviously having someone like a DeDaniel or having somebody like like an Antonio or these very well-known players is obviously good for business. But I guess that's just the case, is that not many players are going to be this mainstream poker audience well-known, and you're only going to have a few guys who are at this point in time and especially playing this event. So I think more than often than not, we're going to end up with a table like this where most people are maybe known to poker hardcores, but not necessarily known to a more mainstream poker audience.
Yeah, I hadn't really thought about that until now, but yeah, there's no one really known at this table. Like, it's not. I don't think that's too big of a deal. Like, they're playing. Most of these guys are at least somewhat known. They're playing for $6 million. Like, sure, it would be great if it got heads up to Negreanu against Kevin Hart or something like that. Yeah. But this is like this will be like a high level table. It's not too many pure unknowns. Like, I would say like someone like Stefan is like very much up and coming. Like, most people like don't know who he is or anything, but I would guess everyone else is like at least a face on the super high roller circuit who has been for a while now, kind of thing. So it's not, you're not getting the Negreanos, you're not getting the mainstream guys, but like 2 guys who are like semi in the know in poker. These are all like guys.
Yeah, I guess from a rooting standpoint, people keep saying who am I rooting for, man. I'm rooting for, of course, got to root for Pratt, got to root for Jake Kuhn, root for Luce Leon. I root people I have on the podcast. I'm like I don't know, if I in the podcast, I usually have a better relationship with you than other people. So Bonomo, of course, too. I want to see Bonomo in the mix. Feels like Justin's been on a very sick heater now with his results recently in terms of the scoop and in terms of with these other high rollers. So I'm just kind of excited to see some good play poker, Mike. I'm excited to see some good play. Who do you got to win if you had to pick a person right now? I think it's probably easy to go Jake Schindler, but who's your pick to win here? Who are you rooting for?
PLP for sure. Definitely. I would love to see Pratt take this down.
Yeah, I would love to see Pratt take this down as well, guys. So, but yeah, in terms of the action, man, like I said yesterday, not too much really talk about. I feel like the commentary once again was top quality. I think Maria from the sideline reporting getting a lot better. I think Maria that first day, I don't think she's really done too much sideline reporting like this. I think she does do stuff for Heartland Poker Tour, but that's more of a commentary standpoint. But I think the first day she may have been a little nervous just being on camera, but I think she's greatly improved in terms of how she's been on camera as well. I'm not sure how much value those little sideline cutaways have added. I think they're sort of just standard in terms of interviews and in terms of adding this little insight on players. And I do like that added insight in players from like a coverage standpoint. And then I think from the other side with Jesse and Kara, I feel like those guys have been fine. And I don't know, what do you think about any sort of takeaways from the coverage, from the commentary, or that sideline stuff?
I think they've been doing a good job, especially when, as you mentioned, like some of the people involved are fairly new to this. I think give this more time and they'll be doing a great job, I think.
Yeah, I hope that Nick Schulman releases some sort of course on his vocabulary, because I'd really like to learn exactly how he decides in the game tree of his mind to pull out some of these words when he's describing a flop. I feel like he has maybe 500 different words he can go to on the snap of his fingers, and then stack that with 500 other words on another snap of the fingers, and it always just sounds so eloquent together. And I could listen to him talk for I could listen to him talk for hours, I think, just about anything.
Yeah, no, he's a beast. He does an awesome job with things.
Yeah, he's very, very, very good guy. So we'll take a couple questions. If anyone's got a question or two in the chat here. In terms of thoughts on Poker Go, we kind of talked about that the other day. I think right now there were some technical difficulties yesterday, but outside of that, it's overall gone pretty well. It seemed like a lot of people were not willing to pay for that mic. Not surprisingly, they were fiending for the free streams, and there were some free streams out there as well. I don't think they got shut down. I'm sure they'll be out there today, but there's really not much you can do to stop these free streams. They can just kind of pop up, but overall, it seems like Poker Go, what do you think, has gone well so far? I mean, I guess there's no real way for us to know.
Sorry, could you repeat that question once more?
About Poker Go, how do you think about Poker Go so far in terms of just them going from the free now to this paid thing?
I mean, I just don't like it. Like I mentioned before how I don't like monthly fees on things. I just like being able to turn something, like I just like throwing on Twitch and it working kind of thing. Like I hate, like the more apps I have on my phone, the more I have of this. Like I wish I could just like go to my phone and have 3 apps on it or something like that. Like I really I don't like that. But again, that's like I'm not in the business of marketing a television company or anything. Like it's just like me as a user, I don't like it. But that's like I don't know if I'm the average person in the user base or anything.
Yeah, well, we'll see how it goes, guys. It's going to be starting up in about 20 minutes. If you guys want to watch it, you can go on pokergo.com. You can download the app. You can do some other stuff. I think of pokergo.com the ways we're watching it here. We'll probably be doing a companion stream as well. But yeah, if you want to get some last-minute bets in, you're not from the United States, you can go over to pokershares.com. You can check out Mike's site. Mike, who's obviously the favorite now is of Schindler? Is that I don't even know how the payout thing works for what you're doing. So what can people bet?
Yeah, so Schindler's the favorite. You can bet him at plus 265 or minus 285 or something. Yeah, I think it was about that. The one thing I was going to say that was kind of funny about today is whenever we put rates out, people love saying your rates are too high. Can we short your rates? It's just people's favorite thing to do, and people are like, oh, I'd use your website if we were allowed to short your rates. Like it's people's favorite comment. So we do this occasionally, and every time we do it, no one ever shorts the rates, like ever. To this day, I don't think a single person has shorted a person on our site. But so basically what I did today is we put out our market for the final table, and we made margins like razor thin. Like the edge we're taking on each side was really small. We advertised on social media that we're allowing people to short people. And we're just saying like, let's see if people will put their money where their mouth is. Not a single person shorted someone. And then on top, and we've been getting a shitload of bets. Like we've had so much action on this tournament. Not a single person shorted someone. People are always on social media. And then we said, you know what? Let's make our margins even thinner. Like if you bet on Jason Kuhn, you could bet Jason Kuhn at plus 2,500 or minus 2,500. Like basically we are taking no rake if you bet on Jason Kuhn. Like it was, our margins were like, there weren't even margins. And lo and behold, no one shorted any players. So I think it's one of those things. Like I think that when I have an opinion on something, I'm always willing to put my money where my mouth is. And I think that I think that this is something like, while social media is like, it's a beneficial for branding a business, it's so funny to see just how many people want to like short our rates. And then when we not only let people short rates, but we allow them to do so with no profit margin for us whatsoever, still literally, and we have thousands of users. We've had something like, I don't know, like 5,000 bets placed in May or something like that. Like, with several 100,000, like we haven't pushed across 7 figures. We've had like a lot bet. And not a single person actually shorts people. So we basically, anyways, we're putting up both sides of the market now. Tomorrow we'll let you long players or short players if you want.
Tell us what that means exactly, because I honestly I don't know what. I think I've heard of shorting before, but I don't really do too much investing with buying it, with shorting and sorting stocks or anything like that. So explain a little bit more about that.
Right. So basically today we'll let you bet $1 to win $25 that Jason Kuhn will win the tournament, and we'll let you bet $25 to win $1 that Jason Kuhn won't win the tournament.
Ooh.
Yeah. So we'll be able to let you bet on anyone to not win the tournament as well as to win the tournament.
What can I get on Schindler? How much do I got to bet on Schindler not winning the tournament?
So you'd bet $1 to win 34 cents. Or no, sorry, you'd bet you bet $1 to win 34 cents. So basically, it's like you'd lay like 2.9 to 1.
It seems way more fun. I don't know. I like betting on people not to win the event personally. That seems kind of fun.
I mean, that's what everyone on Twitter is like. Everyone comes out and says how fun it is, and then people don't bet. So it's we'll see. Let me check right now. We've got a bunch of bets came on during this podcast. Let's see if anyone. Nope, still no bets on failure. Everyone is only betting people long. No one's betting on people short. But yeah,
I'd like to make a bet. Can I make a wager on someone not winning? I can't do it. I'm from America. Mother, so sick, man. Why do I got to be from this?
Yeah, I mean, this is how seriously we take our not betting against Americans. Like Kevin Hart reached out to us wanting to bet on himself because he thought he liked the price. He wanted to bet 10K against 1.25 million. And then we're just like, we can't take bets from America, but we'll just give you a 1.25 million free roll. So just, gave him a free roll in the tournament. Not overly surprisingly, he didn't end up winning. And we just can't gamble with Americans.
So you gave Kevin Hart a $1.25 million free roll if he won the tournament.
Yeah.
Really going on a limb with that bet, Mike. I mean, I respect your heart you showed in putting that wager out there. I mean, I know you were. Yeah, I mean that's a tough one to make. I mean, wow, a lot of heart there, Mike. A lot of heart.
I mean, you're making it sound like this is. I'm not. You're being kind of sarcastic here. But like, no. Okay, I wasn't sure. All right, just making sure. It is like, yeah, I mean, that's a lot of money, and people like inexperienced poker players win tournaments all the time.
That's true.
Yeah. Okay, I wasn't quite sure. I thought you were trying to basically say like, this guy, can't win a tournament or something. I wasn't. I thought that was your implication there, but I wasn't.
I was actually. So I'll be honest. I was merging my range there. I meant that this guy cannot win a tournament. I also meant that you had a lot of heart too at the same time.
Okay, gotcha.
So I don't. I was thinking about this. I was actually thinking about this. How often, after seeing Kevin Hart play the first day, how often does Kevin Hart ever win the tournament? And I was like, I cannot. If this tournament ran 1,000 times, I cannot see Kevin Hart winning one of those 1,000 times. Now, obviously, that's probably not true, but first from the play I saw.
So I'll bet
I don't see it. I don't see him beating this particular field right here. Maybe a tournament, sure, but this specific field, this is the thing. Like everyone loves talking about laying on long odds. You don't think you can win 1 in 1,000 times? If you give me 300 to 1, I'll bet as much as you and anyone else wants to win the next time he plays a tournament. Like it's just people can win tournaments, and I'm just like I'm very willing to put my money where my mouth is. And it's so easy to point and say, look, you can't win a tournament, but if you're not backing it up, you're not like I think as a professional gambler, if you don't back up your opinions aren't worth anything. Basically, bang, bang.
That's kind of my mentality. So I'm very willing to bet on anything and everything, and I think a lot of people just will not, kind of thing, and they won't bet. They'll talk about everything, and they won't bet anything.
I'm putting my money up next year. If Kevin Hart plays this next year, I'm gonna make a bet against him winning the tournament with you. Okay?
Let's do it. I'm definitely down.
Who do you think wins the tournament more out of 1,000 times? If I was playing this tournament or Kevin Hart's in the tournament, who do you think wins the tournament more? And how many times potentially more do you think that person? Like, what do you think that would be?
You probably win it 3 or 4 times as often, or something like that.
I think I never win it out of 1,000 against these particular players.
Yeah, I mean, have you ever played it in a poker game and lost to a fish?
Well, I mean, not lately, no. I mean, I run pretty hot against the fun players, I'll be honest with you. So no, I mean, yeah, I've been crushing those motherfuckers. Mike, come on, there's some bad players out there. But okay, yeah, so of course, I've lost to some.
Yeah, I mean, if you can lose to a player who's worse than you can beat a player who's better than you. Like there's while there's skill in this game, there's also a good deal of luck in this game.
I'm not going to fall for it. I don't know.
All right. Well, I think you can definitely win this tournament.
Well, we're going to find out next year, Mike, because I'm going to be playing in the event after I take PLP's tournament masterclass course that I've been currently grinding, and I've just been very excited about potentially getting there. So, but yeah, guys, that's what we got. That's it. 13-minute show starting up. Make sure you go find There's Poker Go or find your closest terms of service breaker out there. Much love everybody out there. Much love to Timex for coming on here. I'm going to be going to Vegas tomorrow at this exact time. I will be in Vegas tomorrow, probably when it's going to be three-handed. I might be at the Poker Central headquarters, so I might put out a video tomorrow morning before I leave, sort of recapping the event. If I can wake up on time, I don't know how it's possible. But yeah, check out Poker Shares. Mike, follow Mike on Twitter, Instagram, Mike McDonald 89 on Mike McDonald _89. And that's all I got. Everybody, adios, everybody. Much love. You can find this back on iTunes if you want to listen to any of these at all. And Mike, we'll be watching. Good luck today.
All right. Take care. All right. See ya.
Later.